Hi everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. This is a little project that I was asked to video, and this is using the Scalloped Pop Up Box from Spellbinders. So the dies that I'm using to create this pop-up box is the Scalloped Pop Up Box die. I'm going to use the foliage die, the Les Papillons set, and I'm using a flower die, but you can use any flower dies that you have in your own collection. So there you have a couple of variations on the Scalloped Pop-Up Box, one in pale colours, one in darker colours. It's a very pretty project, and you can make it for any occasion that you know of. So let's get busy and make all the different components that we need for this box. Okay, so this is the main box element, and we're going to cut 4 of these. 3 of them we're going to bend. We're going to bend the top flap one way and the side flap another. And we're going to do that on 3 of them, but we're just going to leave 1 of them straight and just bending the side flap. Now this is the part that goes inside the box that you will add all your little pieces to. So we're going to cut at least 3, or I've cut 4 for mine, and these score lines will show you where to bend the card. Now these elements are the decoration on your box, and for the large one I have cut 10, and for the smaller one I have cut 6, but you can add as many decorations to your box as you wish. Now from the Les Papillons set you're going to cut both of the butterflies. So they're in 2 parts. One will give you a solid part and the other one will give you a lacy effect. If you leave the card in the die, you can ink through the die and it will give you this pattern onto the butterfly. And then what you're going to do is just curl the wings a little bit, and I'm just using the handle of a paintbrush, and then all I'm doing is gluing them along this body line and adding them together. So that's the butterflies ready now for your box. Now I've used this die from the foliage set and I've cut and embossed it. Now before I take it out of the die, I'm just going to ink through the die. And I've used 2 different shades of green card for my leaves. And with the piece that's left, you're going to create some stems. So there's my leaves. Now with the piece that's left, if you cut some off and then glue the double piece together, so I've just folded it in half, I've cut some off the end. I'm going to make sure that there's plenty of glue on that so that it all is glued. And then if you pop that on one side to dry, once it's dry, it's very stiff. And this is the piece that you're then going to cut to create some little stems to go on the back of your flowers. Now from the flower bundle die set, I've cut myself all the different flowers and I've inked through the card, through the die into the card. So all I'm going to do is just push the centre of the flower down, and I'm going to stack them up with some glue, and then in the centre I'm going to pop a little pearl, and I'm going to do that with all my colours so that I have as many flowers as I need for my projects, and those that I don't use will always be saved for another project. Now once you've done that with the flowers, if you take one of them and one set of leaves, you're going to add some glue along the back, and I think we'll use hot glue because it's a lot sturdier. So we're just going to put some hot glue along the back, and we'll pop the leaves in there. And then with the stems, I'm going to pop some more glue down there, and I'm going to just add in the stem, and that will give you a nice attachment for your card. Leave some of the flowers loose, but once you've done that, you've got a nice selection of flowers on stems ready to add to your card. So I think we've got all the components ready now to start making the box. So let's start making the box. Okay, if you lay all your pieces down along this tab, you're going to add in some glue, and then you're going to take the second one and you're going to line it up and stick that in place, and you're going to repeat the process until you have all these pieces fastened together. And you're going to do that so that these tabs will fold all in the same direction. So once you have your panels all joined together, we're not gluing this one just yet, because on these panels we're going to create a smaller layer that will just sit in this, and this is the outside of the box. Now on the back of the box, which is the outside layer, I've created one long piece that's going to sit around there, and I'm going to glue those in place. And then for the top flaps, I'm going to add in another smaller panel along there. So like I say, this is the outside of the box. So once we have these panels in place, we can add in the scalloped parts at the bottom. So I'm just going to put one on each bottom edge of the outside of the box. This is the back, so I'm going to put one at the top there, and I'm also going to come on these little flaps, and I'm going to add some along there as well. Now the piece that you've got left is going to go on the inside, so that is what you're going to do next. Now this little Xyron machine is a nice easy way to add the adhesive to the back of the trellis work. So all I'm doing is just popping them into the machine and pulling the glue strip through, and then we'll have adhesive on the back of all these ready to add to the card. So all you need to do then is just peel them off and stick them on the back. So if you remember, I said we'd add one to each of the bottom panels. We'll add, oh, it's stuck to my fingers. We'll add one to the top along there. And this is still the outside of the box. So now we can add them along the top of the little flaps. Now from the smaller ones, I've put them along the bottom, but of course you can add yours wherever you wish. Now the three smaller ones I've added glue to and put them along the bottom, but the other three are only going to be glued along the bottom strip. So I'm just adding some glue along there, and they're going to be put in place along the top edge of the box, and you're going to do that with all three of them. So once we've got all these in place, we need to just apply some glue to this last tab, and then we're just going to fold the box around and glue it in place. Make sure it's all lined up and glue that in place. And there you've got the start of your little box. Now with the little tabs, you're just going to put glue on each end and you're going to fit those into the centre of your box, evenly spaced. Now I've added 3 and I'm going to put a 4th one in just along there. And it doesn't matter if they're not straight, because you won't see all this with the flowers that you're going to add to your box. So once we've got these tabs in the centre, we can now add in the back panel, which is just going to hide this tab along there. So I'm going to put some glue on it, and we're just going to sit that in the back of the card of the box. And then once we've done that, we can add in the other lattice panel, and that's going to sit along there. So there's your little box now, ready for decorating. Now what I've done with these little filigree edges, really they would have been better glued inside the box. So all I've done is just bent them forward a little bit so that they lean outwards on the box. Now with my 2 colours of leaves, I'm going to just add some along the back panel. And we'll leave them leaning out, and we'll just shape the leaves a little bit. I'll do those in a second. So I'll just put some glue along the stem and a couple of the leaves, and we'll just pop them in along there. So I'm just going to shape these little leaves. So all I'm doing is just pinching the leaves together. And then you can decide where you want to add your flowers. Now these bars are what you're going to add your flowers and your leaves to. So you continue adding leaves to your box, as many as you wish and wherever you want them. So we'll have just some leaves there. So I'm going to pop the leaves in first. Now behind some of the flowers, I've just taken off a couple of leaves from the stems that I've cut, and I've just added in some glue on the back, and we're just going to pop those leaves along the back. So I've started to add some leaves in. To make them trail over the box, you're just going to bend them a little bit, put some glue on the edge and just stick them to the inside of the box. And then you can add in your flowers and your stems wherever you wish, just adding them to those centre bars that you added to the middle of the card. Now in my stash I found some ribbon lace, and I thought that would be really pretty to just add around the box. So the easiest way to add the ribbon through the lace is to pop a small pin on the end of your ribbon and then just feed it in and out of your ribbon lace. And that will give you a really pretty effect with the ribbon threaded through the lace, and that's now ready to add to the box. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start on the back of the box with some glue. And I'm just going to pop that lace along there and work my way around the box, gluing it all in place. So we've glued it in place we've made sure that it's stuck down on one side, trimmed it off on this side, and if we tuck that end under just a little bit, it will stop the lace from fraying. So now we can add some glue along there and just make sure it's level, pop that in place, and then with a little shiny dazzler, I'm just going to pop that over the end just to make that look pretty. And there we've got the box now with the flowers and the leaves in it. And the last thing to do is just add in the butterflies. So again, a little bit of glue. I'm just going to pop one along there. And I'm going to stick the other one up at the top. Now there's plenty of room on that box now for you to add in a little sentiment and who it's from and who it's to. But there you've got a really pretty pop-up box that will push flat, but it won't fit in an envelope. You will need to create a box for this, and I'll show you how to do that in the next video. So there you've got 3 very pretty scalloped pop-up boxes. You can vary the theme. You can add all butterflies into your box, or balloons. Anything to suit the occasion that you're doing. They make very pretty cards for weddings or for children, and they really are easy to do.